Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm Gamesplaining City of Gears. So I have set the game of City of Gears up as a 3-player game. The only difference on a 2, 3 or 4-player game is the positioning of these boards. On 2-player, obviously they're opposite each other. 4-player takes all 4 sides. On 3-player, you offset one of the guys. So let's get straight into it. Blue is the start player. Notice he doesn't have any tokens. Green as second player has 1 point to start with. Red as third player has that 1 point as well and a movement token. So the very first thing that happens is that blue will roll his dice, and he's managed to roll those ones. So what he's going to do is use 2 of them as gears, which means he's pulling 2 of these tokens out as gears. What those tokens do, because he's going to need to make a decision between them, is that he would get endgame points for each of these tokens in his possession. Or if he rolls 2 clouds, that would allow him to move a gear from 1 point to another on the same tile. I think he's going to go for the endgame points because I think that's probably the most worthwhile thing to do at the moment. So put that in for endgame points, put that in to connect his areas, and then he has 1 cloud, so he's going to use that, flick this over and put one of his robots into that area. Okay, we move to green, who does the same thing, roll the dice. He's going to do exactly the same thing, so he'll take 2 of his cogs. He has a gain a point whenever he rolls a zap or endgame points, which would give him 2 points for each of his robots that he's got next to an opponent's factory at the end of the game. He thinks in this case it's actually more worthwhile going after this, so whenever a zap is rolled, he's going to be gaining points, or a point. So those 2 have been used. He's now got the cloud, and he'll do exactly what the other player did, and flick over the new location by moving into it. Okay, over to red. Red has rolled a zap, a gear, and a cloud. So he thinks that he's going to just use the gear to take 1. It doesn't even matter what's written on there because it's going to be used to move him into the board. And he marks that as his. He'll then use the cloud to move a guy in, so he gets the 2 points. Flick that tile over and bring one of the guys over. And he thinks he's going to hang on to that zap for the moment because he doesn't really have a need for it or a use for it. Against him, one of these markers, and the zap has now been used. And we come back to blue, who rolls first up. What he can do is he could spend the resource to be able to gain what's on the bottom. He hasn't, however, got any zap resources available, so he can't do that. What he could do is use that to exchange 2 of his dice for a zap, but that would just leave him with the 1 thing to do, and he doesn't really think there's value in doing that, so he won't, which means he moves to the next sector. He'll use that for 1 gear, and he'll take that one over to here, flip that tile over, add his marker to it to show that he owns it, and then he'll use the 2 clouds to go 1, 2. So he's got a little bit more ownership of the board. We move over to green. Green, once again, rolls the dice. Now green could use these 2 dice with the guy on there to enable him to move this token to another valid location, but he would then not have connection to here. So he may not do that one. Okay, he's going to use that one to draw 1 out. Because I've chosen to only draw 1 out, I can't now go back and draw another one out. So he'll put it there, and he'll use the cloud to move to there. This one he's not using, so he'll hang on to that for next time. Okay, we move over to red. Red has 2 gears and a zap, and that's probably a worthwhile thing for him to use. But before he does that, he could use that, but he doesn't have any of the cloud tokens to be able to do it, so he can't use it anyway. He might use the 2 gears to take 2 out. They're both endgame points. So what he's going to gain is, if he took this one, he would gain 2 points for each of the unbuilt robots. So at the moment it's worth 6 points, but he's likely to want the other guys up. And this one gains him 2 points for each spot that he has a robot in, but doesn't own. So if he hasn't got the points for it, but he's got a robot there, he's going to get 2 points for it anyway. It might be worthwhile going for that one. And he will put this one there. So that's those 2. And he'll now use his zap to move onto this location. Okay, we move back over to blue, who once again rolls his 3 dice. He could do that, which is swap the position of 2 of these things in the city. But once again, he doesn't actually think there's much value in doing that at the moment. The only reason he'd be doing it would be to gain the thing that's on top. So what he might do to start with is spend 1 gear, put 1 there, let's take that again, and then use the 2 clouds to get that guy out. Okay, we move on to green. Green is going to do this. So he's got a guy there. He's going to spend 2 of his gears to swap these 2 markers. What that now gives him is one of these markers. Because he's done a swap, this is what he's connected to. He'll then use the cloud to move his 1 guy to there. He'll use this gear to flick this one over, put 1 of his markers on it, and he thinks he might just stop there, allowing red to have their turn. Okay, red can spend a cloud. So doing this, spend a cloud, pull 2 gears, and now can choose one to be a thing like this, so a stepping stone, or to be an extra thing down the bottom. He thinks that he'll return 1 and put a guy there. That now gains him 1 of these tokens because I am not using that one. He will now zap a guy to here, and he can then add a token. Actually done that this turn, so the one that he did earlier, because of that, doesn't count towards the 2 that he can use, and he's going to put that there. He can now release a guy from here for 2 points, so he'll drop on them, and he can zap that guy all the way into the middle. We come around to blue. Okay, blue is going to use this one to do a thing, which is gain 2 points for each of these types of areas that he's occupying. So this is the only one that he's occupying. You need a blue one there to have more. But that gets him 2 points. That also allows this to happen, which gets him a cloud. And this, which gets him 1 more point. He thinks that he's going to take a cog and put it in here. He can use 2 of those points to release another guy, and he'll use the die and the cloud to bring the guy over to there. We come to green. And green has once again rolled the zap and the 2 clouds. He can't do either of the locations because he hasn't actually got the dice on the appropriate thing. So what he will do is trade these 2 clouds for 1 of those. He'll use that to put a marker in just there, opening up that last room. Then he'll use the zap to put a guy on there. Now, because all of the parts of the factory are now open, these 4 markers go into the bag. Each player now gets their 4th die, and we continue until game's end. Okay, the third one of these has been drawn out by red, which means it is now the end of the game. So all we now do is add up some scores. Okay, so blue has definitely got this, which is 3 points for him. Red has definitely got this one, which is 1 point for him. And it also says it's 1 extra point for all unbuilt workers amongst all the players. So he's not just getting 1 point, he's getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points for having that one. Red once again gets 4 points for that one. Blue has 4, red only has 1, so blue will get 3 points for that one. Green has 2, blue has 2, so they share the points for that. So it's 2 points plus 1 for each adjacent spot that they own. He does not own that one, blue does not own that one, so it's just 2 points for each of them. This one is owned by red, he gets 3 points. This one has 2 for blue, so blue will get 3 points. This one's definitely green, so green will get 4 points. And this one is red because he has 3, so he'll get 5 points. So at the moment, green has 6 points, blue has 11 points, and red has 20 points. Going for endgame points, blue is going to get 2 points for each of these in his possession, so he gets another 6 points. Green doesn't have any endgame points, and red will get 2 points for each tile they occupy, but they're not the owner of. So unfortunately, he occupies and owns both of them. He occupies and owns that, so he actually gets no points extra for that. And there we have it, final scores. Green has 16, blue has 24, red has won the game with 25 points. I hope that has been helpful with getting this game to the table. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be gamesplayed, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.